Today we are going to talk yet another topic about teenagers and their issues. Or I can say particularly about the communication that we have with teenagers. What exactly do we portray about a teenager when we talk about a teenager or the word teenager comes to our mind? How is it portrayed in our mind? Perhaps in a negative form. We don't want to have any kind of positive things associated with teenagers. And that's what we've been given that information also in the same way. So just want to tell you what exactly is the perspective of a teenager right now. How a teenager feels about the society. If we think in teenager's perspective, because often what we think about a teenager is all the negative aspects. Maybe he is impatient, or he is aggressive, or he is not listening to elders, he is not bothered about the feelings of others, all those things, right? But when it comes to a teenager's perspective, if you think about a teenager's life, how he thinks about the society, what he feels, or what does he want exactly. He wants to be believed, or he wants to be understood. He wants people to stop judging about himself, right? But something opposite is going on, and that is the conflict, the main conflict that we have. The communication that we have given to our own mind about a teenager is negative, and that is reflected through our actions. This is the very first thing that all parents need to do, need to think about a teenager. When you get the word teenager, accept the way they are. That is something very important, right? Which we are not doing it. What exactly we have to do? We are just going to talk about all these things now. Now, what young people feel, because young minds, they are not grown ups. Until the age of 25, the brain is not developed fully. And that's the reason they are fluctuating. They are fluctuating in their decisions, or they are not taking right decisions at right times. And it often happens that in the same way we are not able to judge them, we are not able to give them, you can't brand them for once for all, saying that okay, you are in your you don't do this, you are a fool, you are stupid, all those things. We just give them, we belittle them, we tell all those sort of unwanted things which they really feel bad, and they start judging themselves. They feel something degrading about themselves, and that low self-esteem is created, self-image is created in their minds. And who is responsible for this? Of course, the parents. So young people, we cannot generalize them as to be a troublesome people. They want acceptance. They are seeking acceptance. And things turn out to be very different when we talk in terms of a teenager's perspective. It's very important because they are seeking communication with us. They need that communication. They really they are longing for it. And that is why when they don't get it, these kind of communication is not got at home, they go somewhere else and talk about these things. See, certain things are very difficult for teenagers to talk. Maybe it's about their feelings, their communication with their parents about their own emotions, or what they feel when they see opposite sex, or when they see the opposite gender. Anybody who is there into their emotions, their urges, their impulses and all that things. What happens, we don't speak about all these things, we only talk about certain general things, maybe like about the food, or maybe something about the classes, and something about their exams or their teachers. So what is really needed, what they feel important at this point of time, the feelings that they have, the bodily changes that takes place. Why am I feeling like this, or what is about my mush and my beard? I'm growing, my beard is growing, my voice is changing. If in terms of boys I'm talking about, but if in terms of girls, like in the case of girls, when what about their menstruation, what happens during that time, the feelings that she gets, or this feeling of insecurity that she has during these times, or maybe some kind of trauma or some kind of uneasiness that she feels, we need to address that. But we as parents, most of us think all these things to be a taboo, and we don't talk about these things. This is something a wrong part, and we cannot, it's an unfair judgment that we give in terms of our children, that they are troublesome. Actually, they are seeking attention. We don't give them, we don't pay them right attention, and that's the reason they are trying to give back whatever we are giving them. That's what I can say. Sorry. So if it is in the way that they need to communicate in the right way, we need to understand them. The very first thing that parents need to do is understand the child, what are their needs, what is his feelings, or what is his behavior. So most of the time the child is not expressive, he doesn't know, the child is not able to he is not able to figure out in what ways he can express his own feelings. And we as parents need to understand all these through the behavior or through the actions that he does. The child is expressive, maybe sometimes, maybe through art, or sometimes his words, verbally, what he expresses, or sometimes through his actions. Sometimes the gestures also, like sitting quietly, not talking to anybody, or maybe shutting the doors and somewhere being inside the washroom. All these things are the typical behavior of a teenager when he doesn't like certain things at home. And what are those behaviors? We need to figure out why that child is doing and address that particular thing without giving advices. This is the second point that I want to show you. Without giving advices. What happens is most of the time parents are only giving advices and advices, nothing else. Stop giving advices, ask questions instead. Try to make them trigger that point, or why the person is doing like this. Ask those questions, or you can even have some case studies. You can give them some case studies right in front of them and tell them that these are the things that has happened to XYZ. You'll not tell the name. And in order to get that problem solved, what could be the reasons, or how can we, if we were in that situation, what could have been done. So when you come across all these questions, now you are able to understand what is there in the child's mind. You are able to analyze your child's mind very clearly. So this is how we need to communicate, rather than giving them only the advices. This is not going to help them. The third point is that the child is seeking acceptance, responsibility, respect at the same time, which we don't give. They want privacy. They want somebody to listen to them. They want somebody to understand them, which we parents don't do it. Now, can you imagine the responsibility that the child has to be given? We don't give it. The responsibility of taking good decisions about himself, about his own career, about his life, about his choices, and all that stuff. Do we do that? We don't give that responsibility. No matter even if the child is wrong in the decision, let him commit that mistake. Let him understand where he is fallen down, or what brings him back. If that is not there, if you don't give that responsibility, how is he going to take that decisions later on? He may be completely depending on you after all. Another thing is about the respect. How do we respect our children? The way we respect others outside, any other adult when we meet, how do we talk to them? And how do we talk to a teenager, or how do we talk to a young child? This is the way we are brought up, or we have this super trend saying that we can call we can call in any ways to our children, but when it comes to adults we need to respect them. We can talk in any possible ways, like, hey, come here, what's your name? This is how we address any child when we meet them. If it is the first time also, when we meet a child, how do we talk, or how do we address each other? Hey, come here, what's your name? Which school, or where do you stay? Right? But when it comes to an adult, how do we do that? Completely different. We give that salutation, we show them that respect, highly respected family that you belong to, you want to depict that. This is how we do it. and the respect that the child is seeking, especially when he is a teenager, because there are so many fluctuations, that pressure that he has under him. We have to understand that it's about his friends or the peers that he has. It's about the relationship. It's about his bodily changes. It's about his appearances, and it's about the socializing nature, what he has, about his feelings and emotions. There are so many internal pressure that the child has when he is in his teen, and we have to understand this very deeply. We have not been told when we were teens about all these things. So it's our duty to understand, because we are far grown up now when compared to that of our children. But we don't realize what adult tantrums and what these things matter in the child's life. So I highly recommend that we as parents need to give that responsibility, that respect, and also give that privacy. Let them be in privacy for some time. It's all right. It's not that they have to not get isolated at all. Little bit of privacy to think and ponder about their own emotions, to think about their behaviors, to think about what is happening in their own life. All these things, they need privacy. So let them have privacy in their own room for maybe half an hour or so, and that's completely fine. You need not judge them, what may be inside, what may the child be doing inside. All those things you need not judge, provided you keep an eye on the behavior that he has. What is there any changes in his behavior, some kind of active changes, or some kind of changes that should not have been done. So try to assess all these things and understand what a teenager's behavior is all about. Then give them the chance to decide or to select some rules and boundaries at home. What are some rules they need to decide along with you? Only then they are able to get an opinion about you. They will know more about your decisions, or why you do this. All these things, let them know about your decisions also, and what is the reason behind this, because this helps them more likely to stick to that rules. So this happens only when they understand the whys behind it. And also give them one more thing that we have is over expectations that usually parents have. The parents usually are expecting so much from the parents, from the children, that sky high expectations, which really doesn't allow a child to get into that level. So much of expectations that we have, you know, hardly we can think of any child who can reach to that expectations. So try to calm down and try to understand that the child is really a human being. You need not think of all that. And let them, you just have to explain. You need not expect that the child is understanding your feelings. Instead, you understand the child's feelings and then show how to understand each other. Let them realize that, okay, when my mom is thinking about me so much, after maybe a couple of years or a couple of months, he will realize that, okay, yes, when my mom is understanding so much about me, then I need to understand my mom as well. So this becomes a part of life for him later on. So let us have patience. Let us do all these things gradually and see what kind of positive changes that we can see when we communicate like this. Be patient. Do not lose your temper, because this will worsen the situation. This creates a lot of negative impact in our children. This is showing them what kind of parenting we are into. Okay, some small tips that I want to give to all my parents and viewers here regarding the traits of a good parent. The very first thing is be a good listener. As I always say, 2 ears we have and one mouth. And that's why try to see that we are good listeners. We need to listen to our children first, and then we have to talk, or we have to give them advices, or try to give them all kinds of suggestions, but only when we listen. It is said that the best communicator on stage is the best listener of stage. One who is the best listener will be the best speaker also. So, but if you expect your child to listen to you, you have to listen to them. So that is a very first thing, very first tip that I want to give to our parents and viewers here. The second thing is create a conducive environment wherein they feel safe with you. Talking to you should be something safer. They should not feel that my parents are judging me, my parents are not understanding me, my parents are not like me. When these things come, they don't want to talk. So kindly see to it that you talk to them in such a way that they are very friendly or they feel at safe, they feel at ease when they talk to you. Create that kind of environment. If I have to talk about Yusuf alayhi salam and Yaqub alayhi salam prophets, these two prophets, what happened when Yusuf alayhi salam Prophet Yusuf used to go and talk to his father about the dream that he has seen? How could a small boy talk about the dream to his father? Rather, we usually talk to our mothers about all these things because what we have a notion in the mind that we fathers are meant to talk something about very serious topics, not something all these about the dreams and stuff like that. But that's not true. The conducive environment that Prophet Yaqub had created at home made the child go and talk about his dreams also, some little silly dreams also, he was able to talk to his father. And that is because of that environment that was built in at home. And last thing that I want to say is make your communication very clear. Most of the time, parents are communicating in such a way, it becomes absurd, it becomes so unclear, the child is not able to understand it very clearly. So try to stick on to the topic where you are able to communicate very nicely and clearly about what you intend to or what your expectations are. Try to be very clear and also see to it that you are talking in the right attention span that he has. Like, for example, if the attention span of the child is around 3 to 4 minutes, so see that during that 3 to 4 minutes, you have to finish your talk so that the rest of the time he will be fidgety or he will not be able to understand whatever you have spoken because his attention span is lost. So see to it that you are rightly giving them, right advice at right time and also hit the right target. This is the sign of, these are some of the traits of good parents. So kindly go through all these things and let me know in the comment section what are your feelings about these live streaming, and also comment about your opinions about these things because these comments really matter a lot, and I'm going to come up with some other topics as per your requirement, inshallah. So seeing off for now. Goodbye. Assalamu alaikum.